Let me say this clearly before we begin. Internalized patriarchy doesn't mean that you support men over women. It just means that patriarchy trained your nervous system before it trained your logic. I repeat that it trained your nervous system. It shaped your entire nervous system before it actually trained your logic. So, women don't live under patriarchy now, but the patriarchy lives in them. The patriarchy lives in their choices, the guilt, the behavior, the decision making, the attraction, the shame, each and every nuance, of the day to day life. Patriarchy lives in that. And if this video maybe makes you uncomfortable in the next few minutes, don't scroll, don't go away. That discomfort is the work. Stay with that discomfort and reflect into it. I've made some pointers that I'm going to share with you. So, yeah, let me share everything. In fact, I was waiting to record this video since a while. Couple of moments, in fact, happened in the last few months where I thought that I need to make this video because I met some women who shared some things with me that made me realize, wow, no matter how educated we are, sometimes we still don't know that we are coming from a space of patriarchy. Some of us don't even know what patriarchy is. And I will share it with you in the most storytelling manner. I enjoy it very much. It might not make sense to you, but maybe in future, some random day you'll wake up and just be like, oh, now I get what Nimisha meant. I look at it that imagine community or village or a section of society, let's say women, um, their power was equivalent to that of the ocean, that they owned the ocean as such. I'm just giving metaphorically, okay? And they were so emotionally driven, community driven, and culturally rich, connected to nature. And then one section of society comes in, community comes in, who claims to be very technologically advanced, and they wanted to make some changes in the system. So they convinced this section of society, which is basically matriarchal and women, that listen, you're very emotional because your cycle and your calendar is aligned with the moon, and moon is not very dependable. Moon is not also something that you can rely on. You're always shifting your moods and your cycles as per the lunar cycle. And I think we need a better system now, which is a bit more structured, a bit more profitable. So I think you should be brought down from the places of power and maybe just chill for a bit. Why don't you just enjoy your life and go take care of your kids, and you're needed somewhere else. Basically, they were emotionally manipulated into believing that they need to step down from the places of power, basically distribute the fucking ocean, and then gives it into the hand of the other section of the society, which claimed to be much more aware, educated, more connected to the god which is sitting up in the sky. So everything turned out to be suddenly shifting, okay? And now, once this particular community matriarch, basically, which was so cyclic and connected to nature and literally used to just think about the well being of the entire village and the kids and had strong family units, suddenly now the entire ocean from their hand is gone. Like the entire power. Like, so even to like step out of your house, you suddenly had to take permission from the other party. To wear certain clothes, you had to take permission from the other party, and to read, to write, to sing. And if you did any of these things that were prohibited as per the other party, you were burnt alive, you were killed, or you were shamed into just not being yourself. And then this generation had to really raise daughters that were living in survival, because if you did anything that was not as well behaved or well accepted by the other section of society, the patriarch basically, then you would be slaughtered and killed. So an entire generation passing on fear, guilt, shame, anger, and literally like just not being yourself, like a suppressed, repressed uterus, I would say, womb, to the next few generations, and losing power entirely. More than losing, just being made to forgotten that, hey, that you never had it in the first place. Now imagine this particular section of society suddenly just being like, no, I can't breathe, I need the ocean. And you you step out for the ocean, but then you're made to realize that you don't deserve it, so you might as well just beg for the bare minimum. Let's say, why don't you just start by fighting for right to vote, or maybe a bottle of water. You get it? Like bottle of water is the right to vote. So the section of this section of society, matriarchs, which once literally owned the fucking ocean, they had the entire power, no, like literally restrictions whatsoever, now suddenly had to walk on the streets begging for the bare minimum, which is a bottle of water, like right to vote, right to dress, right to speak, right to have a name, right to, like all these things. And the other section of the society, patriarch, was just like, wow, look, we are allowing you to fight for your rights. So fine, after like a decade of fighting, here is your right to vote. Great, we are doing so much good for you now. You finally fought for your right. So imagine, like, literally from sitting on the throne and being connected to the entire village and the entire earth and solar system, I would say, in fact, not in the earth, you suddenly have to beg for a right to vote, right to wear what I want. That's what patriarchy does to you. It gives you, like, it breadcrumbs you into believing that, yeah, 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 keep fighting the wars for the bare minimum. And we will present it like we are doing you a favor by even allowing you to fight. And then after, let's say, 2 decades of fighting, we'll give you that bare minimum, whatever you're asking for. But the ocean belongs to us, that we are the decision. The system now belongs to us. And that's the delulu, like most of the women live in when they think about feminism and patriarchy and matriarchy, that you once owned the fucking ocean, and then you were made to basically feel shame about your own gifts, your own natural powers, your intuition, yeah, your own made moon calendar, and everything synced with the planet. And suddenly, because it was not so technologically advanced and it didn't make any profit, um, the entire system had to shift. And you were made to believe that that's how it is supposed to be, because it was for your own benefit, your own benefit. Yeah. And you very naively, you gave it away thinking that no, no, it's going to be a shared situation, but they never really shared the power with you. They just took it away, and they then made you beg for the bare minimum. And after a while, they also brainwashed you into believing that begging for the bare minimum is an act of revolution, and you should be very empowered and feel proud of it, that we are making you do that we're giving you the space to even fight, protest, right, go out of your house. And that's why women these days feel very empowered sometimes, even for the bare minimum that they're doing, getting, basically breathing, for example. So yeah, it can be even explained even more creatively. I am telling you, don't get me started on that. I love this particular way of, I'm just diving deeper, because if you want to, in fact, understand patriarchy even more, might as well just read some books about it. Tap into the systems, in fact, that were matriarch in the first place, and go into some ancient civilization histories, and you will realize how there was no such thing as a good woman ever, ever. It was just a concept that was just designed to manipulate women into believing that they need to be molded into a very convenient form. Do you think that women, like primitively, were just very yes girl and naive and sweet? And no, they were warriors. They were ferocious, they were wild, they had so much of power that they didn't need to prove their worth to anybody, to anyone. They were just so in tuned with their most natural, primal instinct, that they didn't have to fight for their bare minimum stuff. They enjoyed fighting for the sake of fighting. It was a very primal instinct, to protect their kids, to just be playful around their partners. Family units were very playful, very expressive, very intuitive. And the whole society was actually curated in terms of the community well being. Yeah, and things can go on. But okay, then we move to the linear timing, linear calendar, sun calendar, and the disconnect happened. So, how did it really impact your nervous system? All these generations of just you forgetting your own power, that you own the ocean, and then literally wired to be convenient and molded into a more acceptable shape version of you. And living in delulus where you think that you are ruling, but you're not. So let me help you unlearn some things. I've made some notes, and so here are some signs, 6 signs to be particular, that you might be, that you might have internalized patriarchy. Basically, you're following a system that wasn't even meant for you, but it was just meant for a particular section of society which convinced everybody else that they were more knowledgeable and connected to God. Le- so, okay, the first one is you measure your worth by how easy you are to live with. It's always with women. Like most of the time, you just don't want to make things inconvenient for somebody else. You don't want to be a bother. You don't want to be a burden. Specifically, when you come from like spaces where you knew deep down while you were even in your mother's womb, you heard your father say that, "Oh, I want a son." So you literally come out of your mother's womb not feeling really worthy. That nobody really ever even wanted you, so you start either trying to act like a son or you just feel unwanted, that's one thing. And of course there are so many other ways that if you constantly pride yourself on being low maintenance, that no, I don't want anything, like and then emotionally flexible all the time, that you're available all the time, adjusting, compromising, understanding, that you're non-stop understanding everybody else around you only, so ask yourself this: when did being lovable start meaning being convenient? When did being lovable start meaning being convenient? And you have to trace back, as far as possible that you can in order to really unlearn this. And yeah, it will take a while, but it's going to be very deep rooted. Internalized patriarchy teaches women that taking up space is dangerous. Yeah, that's where the whole trauma came from, because when the entire system shifted from matriarchy to patriarchy, they made women feel shame and hunted down for taking space. So, so we shrink our needs before anyone has to reject them. Like the wound is so deep that you reject your own self before somebody else does it for you. So you don't ask for too much. You were just taught that asking is a risk. And somewhere along the way, you confused emotional self abandonment as maturity. दैट अरे लड़कियां तो बड़ी जल्दी मेच्योर हो जाती हैं, लाइक दैट, और ट्रॉमा है ये, मेच्योरिटी नहीं है, लाइक हाउ एवरीबडी, लाइक लड़कियां तो बहुत जल्दी समझदार हो जाती हैं, गर्ल्स गेट मेच्योर वेरी fast at a young age, that's how wise they are. No, that's not wisdom, that's just patriarchy literally wrapped up in a ribbon. You you should not be convenient. You should not be this person who's becoming mature at a young age. You're supposed to be in your most natural state. So please reflect into it. Sign number 2: you romanticize struggle, scarcity, and potential in men. I repeat, you romanticize struggle, scarcity, and potential in men. If stability feels boring, consistency feels suspicious, and peace feels unfamiliar, this is not chemistry, this is conditioning. Patriarchy teaches women to earn love, not receive it. So until unless woman doesn't just feel like, am I doing enough? That I need to win this person's heart, that I need to be worthy of this person's love. The hard work, so much of overgiving, so much of like just sacrificing, chaos and whatnot. Patriarchy, once again, So chaos feels like passion, unavailability feels like depth, and the potential feels like purpose. Purpose. You're not attracted to wounded men. You were trained to believe your love should fix something. You are not attracted to wounded men. You are trained to believe that your love should fix something. That's not romance, that's unpaid emotional labor. Exactly, yeah. Sit with it. Even when you'll reflect back, it was always just accepted that men will go to war. When they come back, their wives are gonna, like clean their wounds and like take care of them, mother them, and feed them and whatnot. No, that was again patriarchy. Like before that, this is none of this was supposed to really happen. Yeah. Sign 3: you are hyper independent, but secretly exhausted. If you say, I don't need anyone, and but your body feels tired, heavy, resentful, that's not empowerment, that's survival mode dressed up as strength. Internalized patriarchy doesn't just make women dependent, it also makes them overfunction. You learned early that softness wasn't safe, so you replace it with competence. But true power is not doing everything alone, it's knowing when you're allowed to be held. And it's a tough one because most of the women these days, they don't feel safe opening up. They are literally shutting themselves down because they feel that nobody else around what they're really going through. Um, Very similar to how we describe male loneliness epidemic, right? Funny. But the fact here is that we are literally breaking so many generational cycles. And now it's just assume that it's given, that as if we have to do it. Like there's no other way, of course, because there's no other way. Nobody did it before us. So now we have to. It all falls back on our shoulders. So, yeah, that's why most of us are really being so selfish with our peace, preserving our peace. Like now that we have found it, we don't want to let it go. We don't want to gamble. So, yeah, sign number 4, you feel guilty for wanting more, but ashamed for wanting less. Oh, classic. You feel guilty for wanting ambition, money, rest, pleasure, freedom, but you also feel ashamed if you want simplicity, slowness, or a softer life. Ah, man. It's so interesting because a few days ago I was talking to this client who is seeing someone from a long time, and he finally decided to make her meet his family. And his family had a very clear term that, oh, so she lives in Germany. She has a really good job there. And they live here in Jaipur. And so basically, they made her say that she is okay with leaving her job in Germany. Um, and move to Jaipur if she wants to marry the guy. And this is not just one example. There are two, three more similar examples that happened, like in the last few months, where, um, like two of my female friends, they literally lost um, everything that they owned to a man that they married, because they took the gamble of literally shifting their life entirely for the man and his well-being and everything, and he ran away with their money. And then two three more examples here and there where they want to maybe slow down, but now like these women have reached a point where there's so much that they're managing, like that they feel like downsizing will be like then giving away their power. Now they're so used to that adrenal rush that they get by like managing 4 properties or having like so many things to do, like, that, but their heart wants to downsize, but now they can't because they feel like now they're supposed to live this particular life out there, you know. So you because patriarchy never allowed women to like live on their own terms. So whatever you choose, you're still trying to justify it to an invisible audience, either to the in-laws or to people out there on social media. Freedom isn't choosing between roles. Freedom is not needing permission for desire at all. Like permission is not needing permission for desire at all. So it's you're supposed to desire whatever you want. If you want to live in London, you live in London, and if you want to live in Jaipur, you live in Jaipur. Germany, Paris, wherever, what you're going to do, you should not need permission to desire. You should not need permission to um, just really make your own mistakes and make your own rules in life, to make your own story, to make your own narrative about success, about your own life and love and relationships and marriage. So if you're made to feel ashamed for wanting more or wanting less, that's a problem because somebody else is regulating your this parameter of desires. That if you desire too much, you're too much. If you desire too less, like what is wrong with you? Like why wouldn't you do this? So, yeah, it's hectic. So sign number 5. Wow, I just realized the video is like too long, but who cares? You police other women even when you love them. That's sign number 5. If you ever thought that she's too loud, she's too sexual, she's so expressive, she's so angry, she's too much. Why she's not more regulated is the new word in our dictionary, right? Be more regulated. I want my nervous system regulated. No, that's bullshit. You can't live a regulated life. We are emotional beings. So please pause. Like, ask yourself, who taught me what a good woman looks like? Who taught me what a good woman looks like? Internalized patriarchy survives best when women enforce it on each other. when women become the police for each other, that's when patriarchy thrives, because that's what patriarchy really wanted us to do. Not because we are cruel, but because approval once meant safety. To be approved by another woman once meant safety. Unlearning patriarchy means letting women exist without explanation. That, hey, you do you. You be a storyteller, or you be a mother. You become a businesswoman, or, sorry, I got to take. Ah, I called her. Yay. Yeah. So, hmm, I broke the flow. But yeah, you gotta really, yeah, moving on to the next sign. You confuse emotional endurance with love. You confuse emotional endurance with love. If you believe love means tolerating disrespect, absorbing mood swings, waiting, hoping, the yearning part, remember, like sometimes women romanticize so much. Oh my God. Oh, understanding endlessly, that's not love, that's conditioning. Patriarchy taught women that endurance is a virtue. It's like being this holy Mother Mary, give, 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 forgive, be as giving as possible, be as nurturing as possible, be as kind and generous and understanding and motherly as possible. Oh God. Patriarchy really taught women that endurance is a virtue, that keep enduring and God will bless you. you know. But love is not how much pain you can survive. Love is how safe your nervous system feels in someone's presence. If peace feels unfamiliar, it's not because peace is boring. It's because you were raised in noise. It's because you were raised in noise. Anyway, so unlearning patriarchy is not about being angry or becoming angry. It's about becoming honest, to be honest. And there are times maybe being angry will be a part of it. Yeah, sometimes being angry will also be a part of it. So honest about what drains you, honest about what you desire, honest about cost of staying small. You don't need to fight the system, but you need to stop carrying it inside your body. That's the work that you need to do, and that is where actual liberation begins. um, every single day, in even in the most minor ways, if you can just observe where you're coming from, space of patriarchy, and even if you slightly unlearn it, you're breaking a pattern, you're breaking a system which was actually not even designed with your body. How your body works is very different. It was never supposed to follow the 12-month cycle and a certain sun calendar or a certain god. It was always meant to be very intuitive. It was always meant to have a lot of ancestors, guides, beautiful kids around, women around, a lot of games, playful energy, nature, flowers, fragrances, colors, um, music, dance, expression, sharing circles, anger circles, grief circles, crying circles, romantic circles, love letters, poetry, literature, a lot of walking, a lot of breathing, a lot of eye gazing, a lot of holding hands, a lot of hugging, a lot of different spaces of silence and accepting it. So perhaps just keep a watch and open your hearts to unlearning patriarchy. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, because one day um, you will again sit down with your daughter and you'll be able to feel very proud of yourself that you did it at the right time before it weighed on you or them. Thank you, and have a wonderful year ahead.